Hello and welcome again to the Bench Report, where we discuss recent debates and briefings from the benches of the UK Parliament. A new topic every episode. You're listening to Amy and Ivan. You asked us to break down the government's new £5 billion Pride in Place investment initiative and perhaps cut through some of the parliamentary noise. Our mission today is to understand what this policy actually means, why it immediately drew such sharp attacks from the opposition, and where the real tension might lie in Britain's renewal strategy.
Indeed. The government is certainly framing this initiative as, well, their driving mission, tackling the corrosive decline they argue Britain has suffered over the past 14 years, aiming to restore community belonging. It's certainly a significant figure, $5 billion total commitment.
Okay, let's unpack the money a bit. The core of this is the flagship program, offering up to £20 million over a decade for specific neighborhoods. The minister called this a game changer. But there's also a smaller, more immediate pot of money, isn't there?
That's right. Beyond the long-term, decade-long investment, there's an immediate $1.5 million short-term impact fund per place. It's designed for, instant revitalization things like high street cleanups or perhaps rapid community space creation. This dual approach aims for both quick wins and sustained transformation.
And here's where it gets really interesting, structurally speaking. The government seems to be bypassing traditional structures. The money isn't just going to local authorities as standard.
No, exactly. Funding decisions are specifically allocated to local neighborhood boards. These include residents, business owners, and MPs. They're the ones deciding how to, say, repurpose derelict pubs or improve local transport.
So the key nugget here is the government is essentially betting that these resident-led boards will deliver better results than the existing elected councils.
That seems to be the philosophy. It ties directly into their three stated aims: building stronger communities, improving the look of the public realm, creating these thriving places, and critically, giving communities a stronger voice. That includes things like a new community right to buy local assets. It feels like quite a significant shift in local governance thinking.
And that philosophical shift is exactly what the opposition parties seized upon. Let's start with the conservative pushback. What was their core argument?
The conservative critique was quite forceful. They labeled the program a fig leaf, suggesting it covers up a collapse in local investment capability. Their argument is more structural. They say existing businesses, pubs, shops, farms are already buckling under the weight of new government taxes and business rates.
So the claim is the underlying local economy is being choked, even as this new money is being sprinkled in, a sort of sticking plaster.
That's the gist of it. They argue it's a distraction, and they definitely question the mechanism itself. Why introduce this complex new bureaucracy with neighborhood boards instead of just empowering elected local councils?
And they also raised the question of political motivation, suggesting the funding might be directed towards labor-held areas rather than purely based on need.
That political angle was certainly raised, but then the Liberal Democrats came in with a completely different kind of criticism, much more focused on the council finances themselves.
Yes. While they welcomed investment in principle, they argued this program entirely neglects the core financial crisis hitting local government. Specifically, the massive, often unsustainable cost of mandatory statutory services.
Precisely. Services like social care or provision for special educational needs and disabilities, SEND, as it's often known. The Lib Dems made the point that councils are sometimes forced to sell off valuable community assets, like libraries, just to cover these ever-growing statutory shortfalls.
Selling libraries to pay for care obligations. That really puts the problem in stark relief.
It does. Their argument is that high street revitalization becomes a hollow gesture if that underlying financial structure is fundamentally broken. Why fund new community spaces if you're simultaneously forced to sell off existing ones just to keep essential services running? It highlights a deep contradiction.
The minister, though, defended the policy vigorously in the debate. She rejected accusations of political fiddling, didn't she? Insisting the focus was strictly on multiple deprivation and community needs.
Yes, specifically places identified as having low social infrastructure or social capital. And crucially, she doubled down on the neighborhood boards. She stated the goal is fundamentally shifting power away from the center and towards community leaders, framing it as distinct from previous, perhaps more top-down regeneration schemes.
So the government seems to be saying, look, councils are struggling, but our solution is to empower people directly through these boards, not just pump more money into potentially strained council systems.
That appears to be the underlying message, a different approach to local power.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, This massive investment seems to hinge on a core tension. Can transferring local decision-making power through these new neighborhood boards truly succeed if the very local authorities operating in those same areas are simultaneously grappling with potentially unsustainable costs for essential statutory services, like care? Perhaps the most interesting question to ponder is whether this policy signals a longer-term intention to fundamentally reshape local democracy, potentially bypassing the established council system more broadly in the future. As always, find us on social media at Bench Report UK. Get in touch with any topic important to you. Remember, politics is everyone's business. Take care.
Hello there, this is Tom, the producer of The Bench Report. Listener suggestions are vital to my mission of making politics more accessible and accountable. So, if you have an issue that's really important to you, personally or professionally, and want to know what those in power are doing about it, please get in touch via email or via our socials at Bench Report UK. I'll grab another coffee and start scanning those parliamentary archives.